Airtime for this program is paid for by the Yavapai County Contractors Association, and they are solely responsible for its content.
On AM 1130 by 99.9 FM, Prescott, Chino Valley, and Paulden 95.5 FM, Prescott Valley and Cottonwood, the talk of the Quad Cities, KQNA. It's HammerTime. Waking up with the YCCA. HammerTime is brought to you by Lawhorn Plumbing, Verde Valley Alarm Services, Earthworks Landscape and Supply, Prescott Home Safety, Get Right Mitigation, Franklin Plumbing, The Blind Brothers, Caltex, Vicente Landscaping, Barrett Propane, Dignity Health, Yavapai Regional Medical Center, and Badger Roofing. And now from the studios of KQNA, it's HammerTime. Waking up.
Hey, everybody. Happy November.
It's coming in.
It's coming in. How many more Fridays till Christmas? One, counting yesterday, November 1st. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 more Fridays.
53 days.
Well, wow. And I didn't even have to. You did that automatically.
I knew it was coming.
Okay. Meli Kalikimaka to you. Hey, everybody, you are tuned in to Hammer Time, brought to you by YCCA. Okay, so our show last weekend with David and Jose Carrillo,
yes.
The Rosa Foundation. Mike, what a great show. Was it not overwhelming?
Super people.
Heartwarming. So, listeners, last Saturday, I went to taco night. I mean, let me tell you, I might be going to taco night every night when they have a taco night.
And how many were you able to get?
Well, it's so funny. Papa Jose says, Sandy, how many tacos? 3? I said, oh, no, Papa Jose, just 1. Uno mas for me. Oh, no. I said, let me just start out with 1. Well, I watched them prepare the whole thing. I mean, from cooking all the meat, the chicken, the fires. I had chips and guacamole. I had tamales. I made a
Don't
whole...
they toast a tortilla right there?
No.
Okay.
No. They were homemade tortillas that were out of this world with guacamole. I just had 1 taco, but on top of everything else I had, there were...
That was it.
That was it. There was no room for any other tacos. Mike, people came to taco night and they ordered 20 tacos to go, 14
Really?
tacos to go, 12 tamales to go. Let me tell you.
They've got a reputation.
It is a reputation. The food was outrageous, and I've never had a better taco.
That's cool.
And
that
it wasn't a crispy taco. It was on a corn tortilla, a homemade tortilla that you just kind of rolled up and then took a bite, and then the food falls out and falls all over you, and you had napkins and you wipe it on your pants and your shirt, but it was amazing.
A good meal.
It was delicious.
Perfect.
Delicious.
I need to make that next time.
You have to. I will let you know. And I was there for 2 hours.
Wow.
I know. Just kind of eating and talking, and it was great.
Boy, with all those people coming through and ordering those many tacos, they really have established themselves.
It was beautiful. Such a nice night. I mean, it was incredible. And the whole family was there. I met David's little daughter and his wife, and it was just beautiful.
That's great. Boy, and they're so humble.
Oh, boy.
So humble.
I know. So anyway, it was delicious. Listeners, you have got to watch for Taco Night at the Rosa Foundation. You can go online and like their website, and you're hooked up for life.
Perfect.
So other than that, we've got a great show this morning. The wind that came out on Monday was like horrific.
Just came out of nowhere.
Bad hair day. So what are you working on? Are you busy?
Well, you know what I'm going to say.
Listeners, he's going to say, busy, busy, busy.
Yes. So, but it's okay. I'd much rather be busy and overworked, so to speak, than to be underworked and not have anything to do.
Perfect. So take us to break, and when we come back, we will meet our guest and Too bad we don't have any tacos to eat.
Now I'm getting hungry.
I know, me too.
And this early in the morning, that says a lot.
Yes.
You're listening to Hammer Time, brought to you by Yavapai County Contractors Association, and we're airing on Talk of the Quad Cities, KQNA 1130 AM, 99.9 FM, and 95.5 FM. So please stay tuned for some great messages from our ever so valuable sponsors. Fill up that cup of coffee or drink that OJ, and we'll be right back.
You're listening to Hammer Time, waking up with the YCCA, a presentation of the Yavapai County Contractors Association. Once again, here's your host, Sandy Griffis.
Hey, we're back on air, and you are listening to Hammer Time, brought to you by YCCA. So 6 more Fridays, and how many days?
Oh, now you're going to, I think it was 53.
53 till Christmas.
Yep.
So, what are you going to do for Christmas?
Haven't gotten there yet.
Do you want to get there? Let's talk about it on
sure.
air.
Give me another 45 days and I'll come up with an answer.
Okay. So our guest with us this morning, I'm sure many of you have heard Derek Wood. He's been with us before
Yes, he has.
quite a while. He's at our home show every year. Mr. Derek Wood. He's now changed his company name, I love it, to StressLess Remodeling.
That's a good way to put it. That says it all. Seriously.
It does. Did you think of that, Derek? Welcome to Hammer Time.
Thank you for having me. And yes, me and my team members actually all came together and came up with a name, because what we're trying to do is, change how people view remodeling these days. We want to take the stress out. We want to help them with any portion of that project that we possibly can.
And that's very true. And you can't help but have some stress if you're living in your structure and people are there working on it. There's bound to be some type of stress.
Yeah.
And the fact that you focus on minimizing that stress, good on you.
Thank you. And we try to do that with both our service and our products. So we got 2 different kinds of products, which is kitchen and bath, then also outdoor with rubber stone. And they're both overlays. So they both go right over top the existing, no mess, no stress. Don't have to demo it or anything like that.
That's a nice byline. No mess, no stress.
I know. Okay, so stressless remodeling, stressless life, stressless period.
Yes.
How do we do that?
Very good question. So the main thing, like I was just saying, is we can go right over the existing when it comes to the remodeling. And then we also help with the design. An average remodel can take up to 14 months to get done from the time, you're thinking of designing and everything like that. So our designers help with all that to minimize that time. And then same thing with our install process.
But now you don't need permits for your products.
No.
They're just overlays, and they can go right over the existing concrete driveway or concrete patio or countertops.
Exactly. And that's why, that helps minimize the stress as well. But yeah, right over the existing. We don't have to get into all the permits and all that stuff.
So before you came up with your new name, StressLess Remodeling, you had rubber stone was a component of your company, along with granite transformations.
That is correct.
And that's how we knew you,
Yeah.
and how we said, call granite transformations, call rubber stone.
Yeah, exactly. And so now we have it all underneath one house, so that way it reduces the confusion as well.
And stress.
Because then they have one number to call instead of 2.
So, is this helping? Has it reduced stress?
I believe so.
Okay.
I mean, a lot of people have recognized, our company and our name, and they like the fact that we can actually do both indoor and outdoor as well. And now they actually see, it's the same company. So it really does minimize, the research or trying to figure out who owns what company.
Right.
Now
Perfect.
They know exactly.
And then you changed all your licensing over. You're
Yep.
now known as StressLess Remodeling.
Correct.
It
Correct.
probably made your business dealings a lot easier.
Yes. Way easier when it comes to, definitely paperwork and insurance and all that stuff. So that way the customer only has to deal with one instead of 2.
Perfect. What now that we're coming into winter, is the interior overlay on countertops where you want to be, or would you like to be outside with rubber stone?
Good question. So definitely interior, right?
Okay.
With rubber stone, we can install. The latest is middle to late November because it does get start to get a little bit chilly. But people do love us here, in the Prescott area because rubber stone is non-slip. So walking to their mailbox from their steeper driveways, especially around here. We had one customer call us last year, and she's like, "This is so exciting. This is the first year I can actually walk to my mailbox in the winter."
Too cute.
That's great.
So that was exciting.
But now down in Phoenix, you can do it year-round.
That is correct.
Okay.
Yep. For the outdoor. And then obviously for indoor, we do it year-round anyways for the kitchen and bath.
So with rubber stone, Derek, do you have to watch the weather? I know you've got temperature fluctuations, but what about rain and wind?
Good question. So when it comes to rubber stone, as long as we have the floor primed first with our binder and our primer, we can actually install it in the rain. But that's with rubber stone. With Vuba stone, which is another product we have.
Vuba?
Vuba. V-U-B-A.
Vuba.
Yeah. It's a Spanish quartz.
Vuba.
And that's more of a cork, you said?
Yeah, quartz.
Oh,
so
quartz.
Spanish
Okay.
quartz, and it's one of the only stones in the world that's mixed with a binder instead of epoxy.
Huh.
So that way it has some flexibility and movement. Now that though we can't install in the rain at all. It has to be a dry.
Is it pretty and shiny and slippery, or?
It's very pretty because it is a Spanish quartz, but it's not slippery.
Vuba.
Yep.
Hey, Vuba.
But it still stays somewhat flexible.
Correct. Yeah, that's because it's mixed with binder instead of an epoxy, and that binder helps with that flexibility. Now, it's not as flexible as rubber. Obviously, rubber, you can bend it in half and it won't break, but this stone actually has some movement.
Okay, so once the binder sets up, though, then it's impervious to moisture.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Super.
Okay, so why are you carrying two different products?
Well, some people like, the more natural stone look
and that's
versus
the
rubber
Vuba.
look. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So we see a lot of customers going with Vuba or, on their driveways, walkways, patios, front entryways because it's a decorative piece. Then rubber is around pool decks, patios, garages.
Inside garage, yeah.
Because of its durability and its safetiness, right? Because rubber, it's non-slip, but if you do fall, you're falling on rubber.
Exactly.
So it's a lot safer.
So I can tell you right now, I know what Sandy would want. Just because she likes the name, I'll take Vuba.
I know. I'm kind of like this Vuba.
Yeah.
But are you going to have Vuba at the home show in April?
Yeah, we have a little sample kit of it.
Okay,
so we
cool.
absolutely will. Yep.
Okay, so listeners, come to the home show in April. You can meet Derek and see Vuba. Vuba Stone. How long have you been doing that?
So this is our first full year of actually doing it. We
Okay.
started it last year, but this is the first full year of actually
Because
doing
we've never talked
Very
about
cool.
that before.
No. Yeah, well, we listened to our customers. Our customers were like, hey, I want more of a natural look. Do you have anything that's going to last a long time that's more natural? Because if you go with epoxy outside, the sun beats it up, the weather beats it up, and it also ambers over time. So your
What does
grays,
that mean, Amber?
it turns like a yellowish color. So like the gray will turn kind of a greenish, and that's what epoxy will do. White will turn yellow. And so with the binder, it has zero discoloration.
Nice.
Well, that is that's like a marketing thing you have to overcome if rubber stone turns yellow.
Rubber doesn't. No. Rubber doesn't.
Epoxy.
The
does.
epoxy
Yeah.
does. Okay.
To clarify, we got
Okay.
two products that we go outside. Rubber stone, which
Right.
is mixed with binder.
Right.
And our Vuba stone, which is mixed with binder. So we don't do any of the stone and
perfect.
epoxy.
Okay. So we
Yep.
don't have to worry about turning yellow.
Correct.
Correct.
Oh, shoot, I was worried.
So you can VUBA all you want.
We've got a VUBA off to a break. I really like this word. I'm looking it up on the internet as we speak. So listeners, we have to take a break. When we come back, we will continue our conversation with Mr. Derek Wood, owner of StressLess Remodeling. And we're going to talk more about VUBA. So don't move.
You're listening to Hammer Time, waking up with the YCCA, a presentation of the Yavapai County Contractors Association. Once again, here's your host, Sandy Griffis.
Hey, we're back on air, and we're talking with Mr. Derek Wood, owner of StressLess Remodeling, and his new product, VUBA. I love, that's like a name for a dog or something, VUBA. Here, VUBA. I'm like loving it.
That doesn't stand for anything.
So they had a vision, and they are a leading permeable surface manufacturer. And they have over 15 years in success in formulating and developing a innovative resin surfacing product.
Yes,
That's
that is
VUBA.
correct. Yep.
And now we've got our very own VUBA guy here.
Does it
Yes.
say where it was started or where it was?
The UK.
Yeah, the UK.
The UK.
Mhm.
And the reason why it started in the UK is because the UK has a really bad water runoff problem because of all the concrete. So now they mandated that any new concrete surface has to go down to the dirt. So that way the water runoff goes into the dirt and instead of into their systems. And so VUBA created they called it a VUBA Mac. So that way it goes on the dirt and then it's like 3 inches thick. And then the VUBA stone, which is the Spanish quartz, goes on top of that. So that way the water runs right through it and into the ground.
Okay, so here's a great question. It says on the VUBA website that it is 57% stronger than asphalt.
I would believe it.
So why can't we make VUBA roads?
So in the UK, they are trying to do that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Or at least a VUBA overlay.
Yes.
Correct.
On existing roads.
Interesting.
That is correct.
Yeah, because if it's got some pliability,
Yeah.
it gives a little, that could make a lot of sense. So
Yeah.
then it really boils down to is the economics.
And repairing VUBA is a lot easier than anything else, too. So say there is a small crack. Now, cracks do happen because it is stone. It doesn't happen very easily because it has flexibility compared to concrete. But it can happen. But what we do is we take a chisel or a power chisel, just chisel it out, rough up the edges, and lay the new stone down. And over time, it will fade in to look
So
the exact
how
same.
would you know that the VUBA cracked? I mean, you'd have to be looking at it with a microscope.
Well, it's all jagged individual stones put together, right? So there could be hairline cracks.
Between the
which,
stones?
Correct. Yeah, between the stones. That's where not the stone itself
Right,
doesn't
but
crack.
between the
but
stones.
between the stones may crack.
So is VUBA, I really like this word.
Yeah.
I remember when we talked earlier about rubber stone being put on a driveway
Yes.
and the process and how you wouldn't be able to drive on it, remember? And I freaked out because how am I going to get out my driveway and in my house and I
Yeah.
can't do it. Does VUBA have the same process where you're going to make me freak out and I can't drive on it and get into my garage?
Correct. However, we do have new technology now. And so we now have an accelerator for both VUBA and rubber to make that dry time go a lot faster.
And so what does go a lot faster mean, Derek?
It's hard to say right now because I don't want to get in trouble.
I think the new technology for Sandy would be to bring her a car cover
Yes.
for the night that it has to stay outside.
Yes.
But then I have to get into my house.
Yeah.
I couldn't
Well,
walk.
that's an
Can I
issue.
walk on it?
Take a vacation
So you said that
and
the
be
last time.
in your house. We'll deliver the groceries to you beforehand. You stay there.
Just stay
so
in the
that way
house.
you're ready. It's only 48 hours, okay?
Sandy, just stay in. We're locking you in for 48 hours.
I
Yeah,
just
for driving
don't see
anyways.
that happening. Even on a weekend or a holiday, I don't see that happening.
Yeah. For patios, you can walk on it in 24 hours,
Oh, okay.
right? So even you coming out of the house, you can walk on it within 24 hours.
Even
it's the
VUBA?
driving on it, yeah.
Okay, so it's the driving driving
it's
mechanism.
the driving on it that you want to wait 48 to 72 depending on the tackiness and the weather.
So that's not bad. You can do a 24-hour period and then just walk down the side of the driveway.
And it'll be non-slip by then. So you're good.
To your covered car.
Sitting out in the middle of the street. Okay, you guys. Okay, Derek. Let's talk more about StressLess Remodeling.
Yeah.
Life is just one big stress basket now, every day, with everything.
Mm-hmm.
People don't
Agreed.
like to stand in line. They don't like to drive in traffic. They honk their horns. They run through red lights. They sigh. Seriously, be happy.
Yeah, Chilling is not in the current dialogue.
It's not.
So we live by the motto, unfortunately, remodeling has its ups and downs with every project, right? Or
There's always the
sometimes.
unknown.
Correct. So we like to run by the model that people don't mind negatives, but they hate surprises. So as long as we can let them know well ahead of time of what's going on, they may not like it, but they can.
No, you're right.
They can
It's
help
a fair
live with
statement.
it.
No.
It's a very first statement.
And we try to do that. Communication is very important when dealing with our customers and our clients.
And Mike, I know you would agree with that, correct? I mean, as a home
Absolutely.
builder, you see surprises.
Yeah. And what Derek just said is true. No one likes, whether it's the homeowner or the subcontractor or the general contractor, nobody likes surprises, but you know what? That's a factor of life. And so if you can diffuse those surprises or at least let everybody know what's going on, the communication is the key. No question.
So, like a surprise would be, dear Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner, your appliances aren't going to be delivered for 8 months.
No, that's not a surprise. That is a catastrophic piece of news.
Okay. So how would you deal with that? Do you buy them a barbecue or a hibachi or what?
Well, hopefully you've ordered their appliances well enough in advance to where it may be a week or two as opposed to 6 or 8 months. But you know what? All kidding aside, that is a good example because there was a time maybe a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, that appliances were a big problem. And there were 6 to 8 to 10 month delays to where you literally had to order your appliances up front when you're just pouring the foundation, as crazy as that sounds.
And windows and bathtubs, remember that?
Yeah. So we actually would put in other appliances in the meantime until because we would finish our project well in advance. So we'd put in like a second-hand appliance until their new stuff came in. So that was definitely an issue.
Yep.
But another surprise would have been so the hurricanes that just happened in Florida, our stones come from Florida.
Right.
For our kitchen countertops. And they had to close down for a week and a half. Luckily, it wasn't hit that hard. There's cheaper repairs, and they were up and running in a week and a half. But again, that put us back that week and a half. So unfortunately, those are some of those surprises.
So, okay, let's just say that surprise, they couldn't get open in a week and a half, and it would be 6 months. Mm-hmm. How do you deal with your client and their countertop overlay?
Good question. So I'm a little different. A lot of times what I do is I call everyone that I know around in other states and see if they have the color readily available. And then I'll fly in and just drive it myself to make sure we stay on time because it helps the customer, but also helps the company, to stay on time. But if I can't do that, then unfortunately it is just one of those things that has to be communication. Tell the customer, at the end of every week, we try to call our customers, be like, hey, we still haven't heard if it's going to get shipped or, hey, it got shipped. It's just staying in communication.
Interesting.
Yeah. And hopefully you haven't torn out anything in advance.
Right. That's why
you find out that there's a delay.
Yeah. And if we do, and we have done that before.
Put another top on?
What we do is we put a makeshift top on and then do like a top mount sink or something like that to make sure they have running water.
Cool.
And just until their new stuff comes in.
Interesting. Well, Mr. Mike and Derek, we have to take another break. the engineer, you know what? Those are our sponsors, and they keep us going through the airwaves.
Absolutely.
We love our sponsors. So would you take us to break, sir?
Absolutely. We're having a great conversation with Derek Wood regarding the no stress that he puts into your life. So stay with us, and we'll be right back.
You're listening to Hammer Time, waking up with the YCCA, a presentation of the Yavapai County Contractors Association. Once again, here's your host, Sandy Griffis.
Back on air we are, listeners. Welcome to Hammer Time, brought to you by YCCA. We're talking with Mr. Derek Wood. He is our guest, the hour of power. Ooh. He's our hour of power guest.
I think someone else has come up with that phrase
I
before.
think you're right. Okay. Well, we're still the hour of power. Okay, we're the second hour of power. So we're talking to Derek about his new company, StressLess Remodeling. We've had Mike and Derek share a few examples of what they would do in a stressful situation to see how they would adapt. And so far, you guys get an A+.
Thank you.
Ooh, dodged that bullet, didn't we?
I know.
I was scared.
Derek, you're going to have all your products at our home show in April.
Yes.
You've got a booth for rubber stone and a booth for granite transformation.
Yeah, as they're underneath one company, but there's way two separate products, so we have to showcase.
Right.
That's a smart idea.
Educate everyone individually on the indoor, what we can do, and on the outdoor.
Which product do you like the best? Okay, let's find out. What do you have in your house?
All of it. I got Vuba stone, rubber stone. I got all of my showers done, all of my vanities done, and the kitchen done, refaced.
Wow.
The bar. We've done it all. My house is the test subject. So, for example, like Vuba stone, if we decide to start a new product, I can't sell it to customers without it being proven and me really backing it. So I do anything and everything that I can at my house. I'll even take a hammer to it and just to test it out and to make sure, it's worth giving it to our clients.
Good
So
point.
is Vuba stone in your drive surface or your backyard?
Front entry on the steps.
Okay. And your wife is okay with this?
Oh, yeah. It's because if I break it, I got to redo it.
So you come home and you say, honey, we're going to Vuba stone the garage floor. Oh, can this product go on the garage floor?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And people love the rubber or the Vuba on the garage floor. Vuba is a really beautiful product. And what's nice about Vuba and rubber is both of them, because they have flexibility, you don't have to have that ugly expansion joints anymore. Because here in Arizona we do floating concrete,
Right.
so you have to have those expansion joints. With our Vuba product, what we do is we fill those expansion joints, put in a nice flexible mesh over any cracks or expansion joints, and we cover them so that way you just have one solid, awesome surface.
But how do you make the Vuba or the rubber stone with the drainage and grading that the concrete is poured to have its runoff? Do you do that with your stuff? Or what happens to the water?
It's automatic, right? So there's two things that goes with that. It's all hand trowel products. So we're going over the existing surface. So the grade that it is currently, that's where the water's going to go because we're hand troweling it anyways.
Okay, it still will.
And both products are porous, so that way
so
the
the
water
water
goes
goes
underneath. So that way, if you have around a pool, there's a lot of those drainage areas that people always stub their toes or crack their toes on. What's nice with rubber around the pool is we can just cover those because no matter what, the water's going to drain through and go to it anyways.
Interesting.
Remember that when you get your pool.
No, I've had my token pool.
No
Thank
more.
you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay. So interesting. I'm not ready. I can't do the driveway. I cannot be locked in my house for 48 hours. That's too suicidal. I would never make it. I might have to do the patio.
I feel like we're going to have to set her up in an Airbnb or something.
and you might have to handcuff her to the railing, too.
You're going to have to bring all my stuff over, all my shoes,
I was going to say, do you know how many shoes that's going to be for 48 hours?
Because I don't know what I'm going to want to wear.
That's awesome.
Talk about high maintenance client. Whoa, I would be surcharged.
It's really going to put a real test to the matter of no stress.
Yes.
Or stressless.
Mike, come on.
No, I'm talking about the company, not you.
Oh.
Well, it's definitely doable. So we just finished we did a casino in New Mexico, and they told us that they had to have it drivable within 2 days.
Uh-huh.
So what we did was that accelerator is we did their project, and then since it's walkable in 24 hours, what we did was a top coat re-roll with that accelerator, and they were driving on it later that evening. So
Wow.
So is that 24 hours?
So that was 24 hours.
Oh, okay, that could maybe do that.
Yeah.
Forget the
I
48.
can see the wheels turning
I know,
already, Derek.
I know. Are the products readily available? There's no back order or shipping problems?
Some of them yes, and some of them no.
Okay.
So when it comes to the outdoor, the rubber and the VUBA, those are readily available. Those are in Canada, and we have them shipped here, and we can have very easy access to that. Mm-hmm. When it comes to the kitchen and bath, the raw products are from overseas and stuff like that, and it really just depends on how available some of the products are.
Yeah. So when you have strikes in ports, for example, that
you don't get it.
And as Derek was talking about earlier, I remember a couple years ago. It's been maybe more than a couple, but maybe 4 or 5 years ago, we had a freeze down in the southern states, and the two big resin producers were, I think, located somewhere in Texas or southern states, and both those froze up. And so that created a shortage, and you would not believe how many things involve resin. I mean, from paints to all sorts of paint, anything.
Even our countertops. Yeah. So our countertops, they're all engineered stone. So it's 95% granite or 95% quartz, 5% the patent polymer, and that polymer is what makes it heat, stain, and scratch resistant. But that polymer has to come from somewhere and be manufactured. Mm-hmm. So again, when stuff like that happens, that's one of those surprises.
Yep.
Wow.
And all you can do in that particular case is just keep everybody informed, but keep your fingers crossed because it's out of our control.
Yep.
Interesting. What do you like best, Derek, about what you do?
Mostly the wow factor, to be honest. Just that finished product, indoor and out. It's really cool to see something that you've taken from before, even though we're a simple kind of remodeling, the overlays, but what you see before and after is just amazing. And then around pools too and driveways, just seeing like the old cracked cool decking or the chipped up concrete, and then without them having to demo it and be out of their area for 2 to 3 weeks when you pour new concrete, right? We're in and out in 1 to 2 days, and it has a beautiful, stunning piece. And we even do designs. So like if a customer really likes, the Cardinals, we can do the Cardinal logo. We can do businesses, we can do their logos. Or, their favorite flower or something like that,
Cool. So the step, what's it called, Mike? You've got your step, the riser. Do you put the product on the riser?
We do.
Okay.
And we made a new rule, and this customer, thank goodness she was awesome, but we made a new rule that she lived in this house for over 20 years, and she knows that her back patio always had this step. Well, with the rubber, because it's all one color, it all blended together.
Yes.
She couldn't see the step, and she took a step and then tripped and fell because it was blended. Right. Luckily, it was rubber, so she fell on rubber. But then she called us back and was like, "Hey, can we change the color of it?" And we're like, "That's a great idea. We're going to make that a new rule." So now all the risers have to either have the whole riser as a different color, or at least just like the little top strip, so that way customers can see it.
Oh my gosh, Derek, that does make sense.
Smart.
Yep.
Very cool. We have to take another break, gentlemen, so it's your turn, Mike. You haven't taken us to break for a while.
Gosh, I thought I just took us to the last 2 breaks. Anyway, we're happy that you're listening to us. You're listening to Hammer Time, brought to you by Yavapai County Contractors Association. Having a great conversation with Derek Woods of StressLess, and we'll be back to talk more about what he can do for you to keep you from stressing out. Fill up that second cup of coffee, and we'll be right back.
You're listening to Hammer Time, waking up with the YCCA, a presentation of the Yavapai County Contractors Association. Once again, here's your host, Sandy Griffis.
Hey, everybody. Good morning, and thank you for tuning in to Hammer Time, your talk show, your radio show, your best show, the most awesome show.
Show of information.
Yes, the show of information. We have everybody on our radio show, not all at once.
Luckily.
Yes, thank goodness. Because we wouldn't be able to talk, would we? Oh my gosh, I forgot to share a joke. I'll have to think of one, and I'll do that the next rollout. How did you let me forget that?
I'm now going through withdrawal.
Yes.
I don't know how I could have forgotten to remind you.
Mike, seriously.
My bad.
Yes, you're bad. Okay, so Derek, what's one of your cool projects that you've done recently?
One, we did the Sedona Hilton, and that was really awesome. So that was one of our bigger projects that we have done.
And what did you do up there?
We did around 2 of their pools.
Super.
So they really love it because, one, it's safer for the people staying there. Because it is non-slip and it's easier, cooler to the touch, right? So it's easier on your feet in the heat.
So you did the rubber stone.
I did, yeah. We
I was
did
just
the
going to
rubber stone.
ask, was it Vuba or rubber stone?
And we're actually doing Vuba on their steps, on their entryway steps. So we will be doing Vuba as well.
So now, how did they find out about you? That's pretty powerful that Derek Wood went to the Sedona Resort and did all of that.
Yeah, it was.
You're pretty famous.
Thank you. I wish. Actually, funny story. I went to a store the other day, and I'm on like Snore and Living and stuff like that. And for the first time ever, someone actually said, "Hey, I know you. I saw you on TV." So that was kind of funny.
Very good. Very good.
But that's actually how they saw me on TV and was like, "Hey, this might work for one of our properties." And so they called us up, and the rest is history.
Very neat.
Awesome.
That's so
Very
cool.
neat.
And you didn't have your rubber stone shirt on when they recognized you? It was just your handsome face?
No, I did have my rubber. I always wear
You
my
always
rubber stone
wear-
hat and
Okay,
rubber stone shirt.
You know what? I think I did see you one Saturday morning on Sonora Living.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought, oh, that's Derek. Cool.
Yeah.
So does that work for you?
Yeah. One, it's just like this show. It helps educate
Right.
customers on what their options are and the different products out there. So I think it's a benefit for everyone. It's awesome.
Super.
Wonderful. So the the Sedona Resort?
Yeah, the Hilton.
Okay.
Yeah, the Hilton in Sedona. Pretty cool. The uncle came in and flew down, so we got to meet him because they want us to potentially do other commercial places with them as well, such as like Hawaii, which would be really cool.
He's going to be so famous, Mike. I don't know.
He's out of town. Let's see. Today he's in Fiji.
Yeah. Eric's in Hawaii. Come on. Just keep sending us postcards, okay? What about, do you do more commercial or residential?
No, I'd say 99% residential. Yeah, we mostly focus on residential. That's our bread and butter.
What, how many employees do you have?
I think we're up to 38 right now.
No way, Jose.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we've got 4 rubber stone and Vuba stone crews, and then 5 kitchen and bathroom modeling crews.
And you've got some office personnel.
Yes, and office personnel. Yep.
So do you ever sleep?
that's why I had to take a vacation. I'm pretty sure I slept the whole time.
I called him. He was on vacation and said, Derek, I need your help. Sandy, I'm on vacation. Derek, I need your help.
Yeah, we got it done, though.
That's perfect. Yes, you did help us, and that was amazing. What about, what else I think is so cool? Would you ever consider this, Mike, as a product on your driveway or patio?
Sure. You know, it's a good alternative because you got three different choices. You have the basic concrete driveway.
Right.
And then you have the paver driveways. And then you have these two products. So it does give people an additional alternative as opposed to having to go from concrete to pavers, for example.
And concrete, okay. What about freezing in the winter? Does ice and snow stay on this, or does it melt right off?
Good question. So that is what I love about our products. So our headquarters is based out of Canada. So we've got the cold weather. They test everything when it comes to freeze thaw, to ice melt, to shoveling, to power shovels, to all that stuff. So it has to pass all their tests before they bring it to the market, which it does. So you can actually shovel on it.
That's
as
what
well.
I was just going to ask you.
Yeah.
Over it.
And then obviously we have the heat in Arizona, in which it has to pass all of our heat tests, which it does. So both products are really awesome for our climate. Now, when it comes to the ice staying on it, what's cool is both Rubberstone and Vuba are porous products. So as you have a freeze thaw, when we have snowfall and it melts, currently it freezes on top of the concrete and it becomes a slippery surface. Well, with it being porous, it thaws, the water goes underneath and it freezes underneath and not on top. That's why you can actually walk on it in the winter.
Okay, so we've had multiple inches of snow. I am a freak out driver going down my steep driveway. Can I just go down it normally if I've got Vuba or Rubberstone underneath all the snow?
Well, I would still recommend being careful, right?
Still do four-wheel drive?
I would still do four-wheel drive. You gotta look at the surface and make sure it's not as slippery or what have you.
And where it's really going to come into play is in a normal situation, let's say in a concrete driveway, when it's starting to warm up and thaw, you get water that's traveling across your concrete.
Yes.
But at night, that water freezes. And what Derek's saying with this product, the water flowing across is actually going to go through the matting, so it's not laying there on top to freeze overnight like it would be on concrete.
So it's not freezing stuff underneath that you have to worry about.
Oh, it is freezing things underneath, but it's not going to affect the top surface.
That is correct. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll just call you to take my car down. How's that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Needless, it's safer to drive in the winter.
Okay.
Especially with the rubber. The Vuba is awesome too, but rubber on rubber tires with rubber, you're going to have, extra traction.
Would agree.
Okay, you guys. Why did the construction worker dip his finger in blue ink? Come on.
Boy, the first thing that comes to my mind with putting your finger in blue ink is some of the foreign countries to show that they voted, but I have no idea.
Derek?
I'm at a loss.
He wanted to get a blueprint.
Oh.
Yuck.
Too obvious.
I think our engineer's going to have
we have to take a break right now. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Hammer Time, waking up with the YCCA, a presentation of the Yavapai County Contractors Association. Once again, here's your host, Sandy Griffis.
Cool and informative.
Yes. So, gentlemen, why did the contractor dip his finger in blue ink?
Let's see. He wanted to go around the world. What do you think?
The first thing he thought of was, for other countries for voting.
For voting,
right?
I think
Unbelievable.
so.
Unbelievable. Listeners, I don't know what I'm going to do with these two clowns. So, Derek, share your information for our listeners.
So, Derek with StressLess Remodeling. The phone number is 623-939-5300. Now I don't have to remember 2 numbers. I can only remember 1.
Way to go.
Very good.
Very good. Derek Wood, StressLess Remodeling. You can meet Derek at our home show in April. He will be there with the Vuba, rubber stone, and granite transformations.
In 2 separate booths.
You know what? We love having you as a member. Thank you for what you do, my friend. You're always there. You're Johnny on the spot. You love what you do. And I couldn't be more proud to have you in our YCCA life.
Thank you so much. That really means the world to me.
Plus, you answer Sandy's call while you're on vacation. That's an extra star.
Yes. So, listeners, thanks for tuning in to Hammer Time, 778-0040 if you need us. Until next weekend, I'm Sandy.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Derek.
Goodbye.
See ya.
Hammer Time.
Thank you for tuning in to Hammer Time. Waking Up with the YCCA, a presentation of the Yavapai County Contractors Association. Heard each and every Saturday morning at 7, with an encore presentation Sunday mornings at 7 on AM 1130 by 99.9 FM in Prescott, 95.5 FM, Prescott Valley and Cottonwood, and online at kqna.com. A library of past Hammer Time shows can be listened to on the Yavapai County Contractors website at ycca.org.
Break it down.
Airtime for this program is paid for by the Yavapai County Contractors Association, and they are solely responsible for its content.